Okay, we're here. This is episode 13 of Vibes Revealed.
Yay.
Yeah, we talked about dreams in this episode, and I actually loved it.
Such a fun conversation. Such a
Yeah,
fun guest.
such a fun guest. We had an amazing guest this week. Her name's Olivia.
She's a dream enthusiast.
Yeah, I love that she introduced herself as a dream enthusiast, but she's also an artist, which she doesn't say in her introduction, but she is an artist. So she'll give you all the details about her art and where to find her later on in the episode. But it was a dream to have her on. She was so lovely.
Yeah, it was so funny. The way that we connected actually was I have a friend who is a fellow health coach. She's like a confidence coach, so kind of holistic well-being in that zone. And we were doing a coaching exchange and we were on the phone this week and I was like, I need someone who's into dreams. And she's like, I smoke too much weed to have dreams, but I have someone for you. And that's how we connected. And it's so fun to just, go with the flow of connection.
Totally. Like we did not know Olivia at all before this conversation. And now I feel like we're just walking away with a new friend. And I
Yes.
love that. So that was this week. We're talking about dreams. And I feel like it was very dreamy. It was very like Neptunian. Like we didn't really have a point or like it didn't need to stay on track. Like we were just really going with the flow.
Yeah,
So
we flowed. It was like a long flow.
yeah, I'm sure you're looking at this episode and being like, what the fuck did they talk about for 2 hours? But we did. So yeah, it was great. Anyway, I guess without further ado, here it is. Dreams.
Dream world.
Welcome to Vibes Revealed,
A podcast dedicated to pulling back the veil around wellness with your hosts,
Taylor McKiska.
and Jay Tollett.
We believe living well is for everyone.
And no topic is taboo. Join us on our journey as we redefine what it means to be truly well in a modern world,
We're celebrating everyday magic.
but always keeping it real.
Let's vibe. This is Vibes Revealed, episode 13. Today we are talking about the dream world, all things dreams. Yeah, I'm really excited. This was kind of a last minute switch because when I was listening back to our guides episode, Angels and Guides, I realized how much we talked about dreams. And I felt like since that just like kept coming up over and over, that we needed to talk more about it. So that's what we're going to do today. We have a guest also.
Yes.
So we will let you introduce yourself.
All right. Hello, my name is Olivia, and I'm a dream enthusiast in Maui, Hawaii.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, totally. I could
Amazing.
talk about dreams forever. I mean, I don't have any formal education, but I think that there's some of the coolest experiences that we can have as humans. I mean, we do it every day,
Yeah.
We're in the dream world every night, I guess.
Sometimes in the day.
Yeah, if you're a nap taker.
I'm a napper. I'm a huge napper.
Yeah.
When I can, they're so good for you.
I love that you introduced yourself as a dream enthusiast because I always just come back to this point. Like we've always wanted this to be like not about talking to experts, Sometimes we'll talk to experts, but I think what is an expert? There's no such thing as an expert. You can't be an expert in the dream world because dreams are unique to the person. So this is something we're going to cover a lot more. This is something that I've learned from my dream teacher, which, I've tried to make myself an expert, but in the end of the day, you just realize that you'll never be an expert and it's just an exploration. So I like how you introduced yourself. Thank you for that. And let's get it started.
Yeah. Well, usually I have kind of like a specific question. I didn't last week. I also don't this week. So, maybe I did actually ask this a couple times ago, but in a class I've been taking regularly, we always talk about what synchronicities we're experiencing. And I really love that as a question and as kind of a way to like start the conversation. So what synchronicities have you both been experiencing, or each been experiencing, I should say?
I'll go
Ah,
first. Do you want to go first, Olivia?
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just say that this podcast itself is a synchronicity.
I love that.
Yay.
Yeah. Me and Alyssa actually were just talking the other day about dreams and how interesting they are. And I'll always tell her like my crazy dream stories, you know, like, oh, I had this crazy like dream last night. Like, do you want to hear about it? And then I ramble for like 20 minutes, and then it's like this whole thing. And we were just doing that, and then the next day, actually, she told me about this podcast, and I was like,
Yes.
whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah. So Alyssa's my friend. We know each other, like we both went to the same online coaching accreditation, and then we know each other through like online communities. And we're currently doing a coaching exchange. So like I coach her one week, she coaches me one week. And I brought up on the end of our call this week, I was like, me and Taylor are about to do another podcast. Yet again, we haven't found a guest. Do you happen to like be enthusiastic about dreams? And she was like, no, but I have a friend who is. And I was like, great, give me her number.
Yeah,
And it's easy as that.
for sure. And I've been wanting actually to do like a course, like go deeper and do like dream therapy or dream interpretation, dream oracle, something like that.
Yes. Okay, synchronicities for me. I've been looking at the clock every single day at 2:22. I should look into like what that means as an angel number, just because I'm sure 222 has some type of significance, but I go through phases where like I'll catch the same time every day for like several weeks. And this week it's 2:22. I mean, other synchronicities, I don't even know. I feel like I have not noticed anything except the fact that I've been cleaning for a week straight. Prayer hands up. The garage is done. My old
Yay.
bedroom is done. The last thing I have to do is like clean my own bedroom, which is like kind of a disaster right now, but I'm just like I have especially noticed since I'm like doing my like workshop thing coming up this weekend, and I was like, "Oh, the state of my room is a direct reflection of the state of my mind, and I am in full chaos mode right now, and my room is in full chaos mode." And then I was like, "Maybe if I clean it, I'll feel less chaotic." So I know I just got to clean my room today, and that's that. That wasn't really a synchronicity, but that's what's going on. How are you, Taylor? What synchronicities have you been noticing?
I have had pretty good timing lately, like, which I'm really grateful for, because time is something I stress a lot about. Like, even like I'm always super early to stuff. I I try to like finish things as early as possible, and I try to keep myself on a schedule, and um it's just something that I try to have a lot of like control over. And pretty much every time this week when I thought like, oh my God, this isn't like I'm going to be late to this, or I'm not going to have it done on time, or I started getting really stressed, like something would just change where like I realized I actually didn't need to have anything in at a certain time or done at a certain time, or like even calls I had scheduled, people would be like, hey, actually, I can't do that. Or like, can we just cancel, or can we switch it around? And I was like, yes. So that's felt really good this week. I feel like it's been a huge reminder of what is time, you know,
Totally.
which, yeah, I feel like as someone who is so dedicated to time, it has felt really nice this week to just be like, it's fine. Like
I love
everything's
that.
just it's all gonna get done, and it's all gonna like, everything has its own timeline anyway. So like, who am I to think that I can interfere with something else's timeline? So
Amen.
yeah,
Amen, sister. I love that.
thanks. So that's been like a really nice thing that I felt this week. It's just sort of like time is its own thing, and other things have their own timelines that don't have anything to do with me. So I've just been sort of like embracing that.
Yeah.
This whole thing is joyous. Go ahead, Olivia.
I was just going to say, go with the flow. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. But what else? Is there anything else we want to talk about before we do our card of the convo?
No, I think we should just get into. Okay, Olivia, what is your relationship with tarot? Do you
I love tarot.
dabble? Oh, great.
Yeah, I love tarot. I actually just pulled a card this morning. I pulled several cards this morning.
Love it. Love it.
Have
So
you
we're
read it?
excited for your input. Every week we pull a card of the convo. Taylor's actually going to go into the speech right now. She says the same
Oh,
thing every week.
yeah. Usually I just kind of like, I like to pull a card to sort of like set the tone or see if there is anything we need to dive into or mention or something that can kind of ground us into the conversation, just to kind of like set the tone, set the space. But a card just popped out while I was shuffling. So I
Love
feel
it.
like this is our card of the convo, and it's the Hermit.
Right, I got that one too this morning.
Really?
Yes.
I
More
love that.
synchronicity.
That's
Yeah. I think, and I'm interested to hear what you both will say about this, but I'm kind of getting the sense that with this conversation, it's going to be something that like after people listen to it, they need to take a minute alone and like really think about. The Hermit is so like internal, going within, getting into, I always think of the Hermit as like a photographer in a dark room.
Mhm.
Like, you know, the process of seeing something transform, but you're like in the dark alone, and it happens best when it's like undisturbed. And I feel
Mhm.
like that when we're talking about dreams and when people like listen through this episode, it'll be really powerful for them to like sit alone for a minute and like really be like, okay, what was my last dream? And like, what is the significance of that to me? And sort of like feel out that space in the dark as something that's not scary, but that's just something that's like in the process of transformation.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like the Hermit is like the card embodiment of a dream. We go in when we go to sleep and it's just our dream world. No one's else's is the same. No one can tell you what your dream is about. It's about what it is to you. And then it requires that you go in and figure that out for yourself. Like all the dream dictionaries, all the dream teachers in the world, they can give you guidance, but they're never going to show you like what your dreams mean for you. And so, yeah, I think it's a lot. I think dream work is it's so important to like set, I'm going to use this buzz term, set the container for like understanding your dreams, and it's just you in there. There's no guests at the party when you're working through your dreams. It's like I talk to people about their dreams all the time, and insight is super welcome, but still there's a whole added layer of you just like going in and being like, oh, now I see, you know?
Yeah,
Totally.
totally. I'm really excited for each of us to talk about our dreams because I have had, I mean, I'm like a pretty vivid dreamer always, like I have been my whole life, but my dreams are not prophetic in any way. My dreams are so silly. And this week I've been thinking so much about like, okay, so if I like keep dreaming about this person, but I know I don't actually feel any way about them at all, or like whatever they were doing in my dream is like not what they do in my life, like what does that mean? Or like what does this person actually represent to me?
Right.
Versus like I had a dream that one of my boyfriend's best friends was in, and like how we see him is so different. So I was like, what does he represent to me? That's like different from the relationship he has to both of us. Like
Right.
it's dreams are so wild, and it is like such a unique experience to you.
Totally. They actually say that even like looking it up, like if you look up like what that would mean, it's like so subjective that looking it up doesn't really do it any justice.
Right.
I think it's a Jungian, like Carl Jung says that everything in your dream is just a part of you.
Mm.
You know, so like every outside object that you would, you know, like your boyfriend's or whoever, like the theater, any object or person, it's like just a different part of yourself that you're seeing. That makes it a little bit more interesting to be like, oh wow, like am I having this dream because I love myself so much, or I love
Yeah.
part of myself so much, or
Yeah.
I love that.
It always makes me think like my brain is actually like totally its own thing. It's such a like stoner boner thing to think about, like my brain is doing stuff and I'm using my brain to try to figure out my brain. Like it's but like that's what's going on. So
Totally.
yeah, it's like a meta awareness thing. You're
yeah.
like, wait, I made this up and I'm confused about
Yeah.
it. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. So let's just dive right into dreams.
Let's do it.
What are dreams? Like, how do we define dreams? Right now, we're talking about like the visions we see while we sleep. We're not talking about like this is my goal, and
Right.
we're talking about
Right.
like sleep time dreams.
We're talking about sleep time dreams for sure. I don't even think about how we called the visions for our future dreams. That's so funny.
The
Yeah.
cool part of it too, I love both. Honestly, I've been really into thinking about both sides of both definitions of what a dream is. And I think they go together, honestly.
Totally. Do either of you have actual sleep time dreams about the stuff about your like visions for your future?
Absolutely. I totally dream about my future. But I dream more about my current situation and how I'm supposed to escape it. But I really look at my dreams as like communication with spirit. So my dreams are I mean, it is a psychological exploration, but I think any like Jungian, Freudian analysis of dreams is like a fully psychological dip into your subconscious. And I think more about my dreams as like a communion with spirit in a realm where they have more faculties to communicate with me. Because, like, in the waking life, I'm not necessarily, we kind of talked about this last episode. I'm not necessarily open to signs when my eyes are open. I don't really want to see them. They kind of freak me out, and I'm more prone to ignore them. So a lot of like messages that I get from my guides come to me in my dreams, because then they're like, "Oh, I can do this. I can make you fly. I can make you do crazy shit. Like, look, we can talk more, like there's more to do and say." And so I mean, that's what I think of when I think of a dream. And that's kind of the way that I was taught from my teacher, is like the dream realm is where we meet spirit on another plane. And they just have way more ways to access us and our subconscious mind than like the shitty five senses we have in the waking world. So I guess, did that even answer your question? It did.
Yeah.
It didn't. Oh, I do dream about my future dreams, but much in it symbolically, like
Mm.
I really want to get out of my house now. And I have dreams of like driving around in circles in the same place, or feeling stuck inside somewhere and not being able to get out. So it is me dreaming about wanting to escape, but I'm not necessarily dreaming about like walking on the beach in Mexico,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like more of a nightmare kind of thing. Going down.
I right. I try
Yeah,
to avoid the term nightmare, because then a lot of my dreams would be nightmares. They're just harrowing dreams.
yes, yeah. They're messengers. They're always messengers.
Yes.
For sure. I actually had an interesting dream experience, and this was a while ago. But I was trying to do like this long distance thing with my ex. When I first moved to California, it was like, we're like, all right, let's do long distance. Let's see how this works. And it was not working out, as happens with long distance relationships. And I had a dream one night that it was like, and you know how sometimes in dreams it's like more of an emotion that comes through, like it's not necessarily what's happening around you, but it's how you feel like about what's happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this horrible like sinking, gut wrenching, like heart drop kind of feeling in my dream. And I was like, that was interesting. I didn't really remember what happened. I just woke up and I was like, wow, that was like really intense, like that was trying to tell me something. That was a big dream. And a couple days went by and I told him about the dream and I was like, this is interesting. And then a couple days went by and I actually found out that he was cheating on me with a friend of mine. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, big drop, big news. Yeah, heart crushing. But it was the same, like the moment that I found out was the same exact feeling that I had had in that dream. And I matched them up perfectly. I was like, wow, this is the same. My dream was trying to tell me something, felt like a premonition kind of. So
yeah,
it was really interesting. Yeah, and I learned a lot. I learned so many lessons, but like one of the coolest things about that was like this dream was like, watch out, like the future is so, and it kind of brings me to thinking that like I feel like because dreams don't really operate on time, like I feel like in the spirit world or in your subconscious or in any kind of like mystical realm like that, like they have really no concepts of past, present, or future, so you could get a past feeling in a dream from like your childhood, like say if you have dreams that are really focused on, like I've had ones that are really focused, I feel like, on power and control and like fear tactics kind of. So those could be like from childhood, when you're growing up and society's like kind of pushing things on you and you're like, and you're feeling something, but then you repressed it and then it's coming back in your dream as an emotion. But yeah, so it just brought me to this concept of like maybe dreams don't operate on past, present, or future, it's just all kind of in this soup in your subconscious, and then it's coming to you whenever your brain can access it.
Right.
When you're sleeping.
Love that.
If that makes sense.
Oh, totally. I think that makes so much sense. Because I was saying, like, my dreams are not prophetic at all. They are usually just like a combination of kind of random things I thought of throughout the day or something I saw earlier in the day will like show up in this kind of convoluted way in my dream. And it's like a lot of times I don't really attach any meaning to anything because I think like it was just a big collection of stuff that I thought about or saw earlier in the day, and it just like put itself together in like a weird little story.
Right.
And then I had a dream about it. They're very vivid and funny and like odd, but pretty rarely are they like, I never have like a dream where I feel really good. Like I never have those. I always feel
what about
like
the Love Island dream.
Oh yeah, but that was still, I was kind of like stressed. I didn't tell you the stressful part of that dream where like this girl handed me like her iPhone, but it didn't look like an iPhone. And I was trying to figure out how to take a picture on it. And it didn't have anything that looked like it took a picture. And it had all these little tiny things all around the edges. And I was trying to like, but it was a touch screen. So it didn't have any physical buttons on it. And I was just trying to figure out how to take the picture by like just swiping around and like pressing stuff on the phone screen, but like it just wouldn't take a picture. So that was that. But it did
dive into that.
It felt nice while I was like walking around the club and like there were lots of people and lights and I was having like I knew the most comforting part of that dream was like I knew I was friends with everyone on Love Island. So
see, like when you say that, like I heard like a lot of meaning in that dream. I feel like maybe it's kind of like what we were talking about last week. Like if you are like, hey, spirit, communicate with me in my dreams, then maybe you would dream more like that. But right now, there's something my teacher calls a brain dump dream. She's like, sometimes your brain just shuffles shit in from the course of your week, course of your day, and you just watch it and you can file it away in the morning and not worry about it. And that's totally fine and normal. And also you don't have to engage with your dreams if you don't want to engage in your dreams. You're the only one who has to consent to that. Like most of the time you say, I don't really want to think about that dream, and you'll forget it by 8 a.m., because they go like in one ear out the other most of the time, unless you record or share it or figure out a way to like keep it in your mind. But even like what you were talking about with the phone and the difficulty figuring out how to take a picture, like that's like a lot of significance that I could go into with that. It's like, we don't have to go into it now, but
yeah,
I think it's like if we choose to think about the things that happen in our dreams as messages, then the message will be there. But if we want to throw them away, then that's fine too.
Yeah. I was thinking that I was just like having a hard time with my phone and like that was I was like earlier in the day thinking about like getting a new iPhone. And like I was like the only reason I would get a new phone is to like take better pictures, but then I was like, oh, I'm not really seeing anyone or doing anything anyway, so like what do I need to take pictures of? And then I just like had that dream that I was like at the club with people from Love Island and I was trying to take a picture and I like couldn't do it. Like
there you go.
So how do you access the dream world?
I don't sleep.
Yeah. Step one, go to sleep. I've used some tactics to, like, if you think about wanting to remember your dream before you go to bed, sometimes even just doing that is like works really well, like just for like 2 minutes. And you're like rolling around, you're like, all right, I want to remember my dream. I want to remember my dream. Also, like writing it down as soon as you wake up, like having like a dream diary, helps me a lot. Cause like, yeah, those things they're like fish, like they just swim away. Like they're so elusive sometimes. So yeah, writing it down, and also like staying in the same position that you woke up in. So like if you woke up on your left side, like not rolling over, not doing anything until you've like locked that dream in. Because as soon as you start to move, your body like starts to focus on moving and like what your day is going to be like and like everything else. So then the dream just like slips away even faster.
Right.
Yeah, so those things have helped me a lot. And also another like small tactic, like if you want to get answers from your dreams, is like I started meditating in the beginning of this year, which has been amazing for me. I love it. But one of the things that you can do is like really focus on an issue that you have or something that you want to like figure out. So say like, I don't know, any issue in your life, like you're like, I want to figure out what my purpose is, and you're like meditating 5 minutes before bed, like what's my purpose? What do I want to do in life, or anything. And you meditate on it, and then you do that for like a week or something, and eventually your dreams will give you an answer, if you focus on it before bed. So
Totally.
yeah.
My teacher always says to go into, if you want to like intentionally go in the dream world, then set an intention in your dream diary before you go to bed. And like that comes with the meditation that you were talking about, Olivia. But just if you write down at the top of your dream diary, like, hey, my intention is to, I don't know, like you said, find my purpose. And then you just kind of sit with that or meditate on that and then go to sleep with the intention of dreaming, like, spirit, give me guidance in my dreams about finding my purpose, and like ask for it. Then when you go to sleep, maybe the answers will come. I find that it actually helps, but I also find that I'm dreaming a lot, but not for myself. Like it's like they're just messages for everyone. And so then sometimes I get confused because I'll be like dreaming and I'll be like, why does this pertain to me? And I'm like, oh, maybe it pertains to everyone. But I think smells are very activating for the brain right before going to sleep. So like smelling, like if you smell a loved one's stuff before you go to bed, it's more likely that you'll dream of them, But I mean, there's a lot around just like setting intentional space before you go to bed and having it be like quiet and focused on dreaming, remembering your dreams. Because if you like go to bed like right after you watch TV, like I dream about the movie I just watched if I go to bed right after I watched a movie, like you want to leave some time to like have quiet time in your bed and focus on dreaming rather than just like let the dream bring up whatever it's going to bring up, because it will, like you said, bring up whatever happened in your day. If your mind's racing when you go to bed, it's just going to keep racing while you're asleep, so just finding a way to really calm things down, introduce smells, burn some incense, burn a candle, relax before you go to bed is a huge part of dreaming. And not smoking weed before you go to bed, because that'll stop the dreams right away.
I smoked weed the other night and had a crazy dream.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, I think
it wasn't a crazy dream. It was like a pretty mundane dream, but it was really silly. But it was definitely like a vivid dream.
I think it might be different for you because you don't smoke weed every night.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you smoke weed every day, you don't get as much deep sleep. Like that's just like you don't go into REM sleep as much when you're someone who's high all the time. So I feel like if you're trying to get deep sleep and you are high all the time, just don't smoke right before bed. But I feel like if you were to smoke randomly, like you might have crazy dreams because your mind is just particularly active. But someone who smokes every day, like their mind doesn't get activated like that from weed anyway, because they're just used to it.
I definitely don't do it right before I fall asleep either. Like, I think the best time to smoke weed is like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Which I know is like not a reasonable time for everybody to just smoke weed. But
usually it's 4:20, I thought. It's like 4:20.
Yeah. I just feel like there's at 3 o'clock in my apartment is when the sun is like fully west. Oh, and I have like a west facing balcony. So that's when like the sun is just going to be like setting and I'm getting like a lot of direct sun at 3 p.m. So it's just like a good time to like smoke weed.
Yeah.
I love that.
But it also like I feel like I'm doing it early enough in the day that I'm not doing it right before bed. So by the time I actually go to bed, it's like
Yeah.
I've had dinner, I've like
Yeah.
had some tea, I'm just like chilling and it's like I'm not like high, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Come out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good timing. I usually end up doing it like an hour or two before bed. But then I have this stuff right now that's like a sativa, so it'll keep me up. And I'm like,
Mm.
no.
Yeah.
I'm up like 2 hours past my bedtime. And I want to do everything. And I start all these projects. And then I'm like, oh, wait, dang it. But I have had dreams actually after I smoke. And then they're actually like way crazier than any other dream and more vivid too. But then sometimes I won't. It's just a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's also a crapshoot, like whether or not you're going to dream at all anyway.
Yeah.
Even when you set the intention, even when you do all this shit, like there's been periods of my life where like I have crazy dreams every time I go to sleep, whether it's like I fall asleep for an hour or I'm planning on going to bed for the night. And then there's like month stretches where I'm like, fuck, I can't remember a single dream. Like I know I dreamed, but like I don't remember them at all. I have no, and I'm just like, okay, well, I guess this is just a throwaway month, like
Yeah.
you just go with the flow and it ebbs and it flows. And when the dreams get popping, like ride the wave and like write them down and say like, hey, I want more of these and maybe more will come. But I don't think any of us, well, hopefully maybe there is someone who does, but it's okay to have lags in dreams and just the natural flow.
Yeah. I was like on a dream streak in Colorado. I was dreaming so vividly every night, but I think part of it was because like I was sleeping well because I was physically like we were hiking, like I would be on like a hike for 6 hours and then my body was just like tired.
Yeah.
And I do notice I have more vivid dreams when my body is tired, like physically I'm tired.
I love that.
Yeah.
And being in nature and getting fresh air like that too definitely can contribute to a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we're always having dreams, but it's like if you remember the dream.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the thing. You don't always remember them. I like what you said about the journaling. I also do this thing where I just pick up my phone. I have the voice recording app like on the front of my home screen, so I can just do this with my eyes closed. But I just pick up my phone and immediately record a voice note of the dream while I'm still half asleep. So a lot of times, and I do this in the middle of the night, like I do it as soon as I wake up from a dream. So a lot of times I'll see like a voice note from like 2 a.m. and I won't even remember recording it. And it'll just be me being like, I had a dream and I was still like in like a half groggy voice. And I'm like, holy shit, I don't even remember this. But yeah, just like get it out of your mouth, out of your hand and onto paper, onto recording as soon as you can. Otherwise they really go quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. I love that idea. I'm gonna do that actually.
Yeah.
That voice recording, that's so smart. I've just been like scribbling it down and then I'm like just going crazy.
Right.
But
Because I try not to turn on the light because I think that takes away a lot of my, and I wake up early enough that it's pitch black in my room. So like I usually can't write it down immediately.
yeah.
But the recording is fun. But then writing down the dream also has a lot of like positive benefits because you can write down the day and kind of see what you dream during each day. And like if you're into planets and everything, each day is ruled by a planet, so your dreams might be influenced by the ruling planet of the day or the night that you were going into. Or dreams, my dream teacher also teaches how we can dream with the moon. So when the moon is waxing, we set our intentions on what we want to call into our lives, what we want to add more of, what we want to fill our lives with. And then as the moon is waning, we think, what do we want to shed? What do we want to let go of? How can we find ways around certain situations? So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to go into the dream world with astrological intentions too, which is a cool avenue to go down.
Yeah. I
Beautiful.
love that idea. I should do that.
Yeah,
I should just be
totally.
much more intentional, just generally in my life. I'm always just like flopping around, like whatever comes. Like, okay, I want to ask though, what do your dreams look like?
Yes, I love this question. You can go first, Olivia.
Okay. I don't know. They're usually color. I can't say I've really had black and white dreams. I don't know. They look like a movie, you know? They just look like and sometimes I'm like above watching everything. And then sometimes I am like the active participant. And yeah, other times I'll like switch people, you know? Like I'll
Yeah.
be,
Yes.
which is crazy, but I'll like be me or be a character and then I'll switch to the character I was just looking at or the object I was just looking at. And so yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they're super vivid, like crystal clear, and sometimes they're super muddy, you know, but sometimes I'll have like it'll be like a filter, you know, it'll be like a wash. So everything will be kind of like dark blue or like dark gray or something like that, you know, or like I'll remember like I don't know. Sorry, I just remembered a dream. Like
Yeah.
they come to me at like the randomest times. But I'll have like Technicolor. I had this like one really cool Technicolor dream where it was like, and it was right before I came back to the island. And it was actually, there's an island in the dream too. So I was like, okay, rainbows, island, perfect.
Love it.
I'm going to the right place. But it was really bright and beautiful. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It depends on the mood of the dream.
Yeah.
How it looks depends on my mood, I feel like.
What about you, Taylor?
Yeah, my dreams are always in color. And I have the same thing where like sometimes it's like first person, like it's coming out of my eyes and I'm watching it from my own eyes. And sometimes it's like I'm watching myself do stuff. I don't ever become like I don't hop into anyone else's body, but it's like I know what they're thinking. Like I know every single thing that they're thinking. And I know exactly how they feel. Like if for every single person I'm dealing with in my dream, I always know exactly where they stand, what's going on with them, how they feel about stuff. The like color palette thing, I definitely have that in my dreams where like there will be sort of yeah, it's like a filter.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily indicative of the mood of my dream, but more of the place because I dream in the same places all the time. Like I have probably like 10 places that I have dreams. And it's like one of them is this mall I worked in high school. And it doesn't look like the how the mall actually looks, but it's like my dream version of it. And it is just like disgusting and gray and like dilapidated and really gross and harsh fluorescent lights. And in real life, that mall is like a pretty pleasant place. Like it's not that gross, you know? But like clearly my feeling about it is that it's disgusting because in my dream, it's just like terrible. And yeah, I have dreams in this place that like in my dream, I know it's Portland, like Portland, Oregon. And it is just like classic Portland, like rainy, gray, cloudy, but everything's really green and lush. Like I'm always walking through people's backyards. Like I'm always walking through these same sort of houses, this housing development, like neighborhood. And like I'm just walking through people's backyards, through their fences and through alleys. And it's like rainy and green, but very like cloudy. Yeah. So every place kind of has its own color palette. And then I've had like weird one-offs where I'm like on a spaceship or something and everything's pink. But you know, those are like their own thing.
Yeah, my dreams are recently I've started having dreams where I am not an active participant and I don't know anyone in the whole room. And that's been weird because that is the exact experience of like watching a movie, but I'm like in the movie. I'm like like I'm a ghost standing next to just people playing out a situation. And that's been a really weird experience because I'm very used to in my dreams being the active participant. I usually am kind of watching myself, but almost like like I'm like half out of myself. Like I'm still we're seeing the same things in the same way, but I'm just like, I sense that I'm not fully attached to who I am in my dream. And so in a way I kind of know that I'm dreaming, but I don't know that I'm dreaming. You know, I'm not like I'm in a dream right now, but I know that like I am not me, but I'm still me. And it's a very weird sensation, but a lot of my experience in my dreams is like I'm playing things out and I don't know why I'm doing it. Like, and so I'll be like, oh, we have to like get to this higher part of the house. We have to do it. But I'm like, how the fuck did I end up in this house? And why am I trying to get to the second level? But like the me who is me doing the dream shit is like, we got to do it. We got to do it. Like she knows what she's doing, but I'm like halfway outside of me being like, all right, I guess we'll do it. But why the fuck are we here? You know? So it's like, I don't think that I'm lucidly dreaming. I'm not like, oh, I'm in a dream I can control, but I'm definitely in a situation where I'm like, how did I get here? And I definitely dream in color. I have a friend who dreams with background music, which I think is fucking awesome. And she'll start making connections of like, wow, I was dreaming from that song. That song was written in 1976, and 1976 is the year that this happened. Like she like starts to make connections through the soundtracks of her dreams, which I've never had a soundtrack playing in my dream, but that would be awesome. But I dream often like I'll move from like I dream a lot of being in my home, and that's why I'm here right now. It makes sense. But then my backyard is somewhere else, you know, or I'll go through the garage and I'll be in like an African Sahara desert, but an ocean is there. You know, like I'll have dreams where like I move through familiar places, but they lead me to random places. But like you said, Taylor, I also like I have my dream neighborhood, which is very similar to my neighborhood, except like there's very key things that are different. And I know that I'm like, oh, this is dream Kite Hill. This isn't real life, you know? And that's weird. Like there's so many tells in my dreams that I should know. I should always be able to just walk into my dream and be like, well, this is my dream. But like that awareness is turned off, which is a really weird experience. But yeah, my dreams are I'm very outside of myself. And it's like I'm like trying to figure things out as I go. Like I'm trying to like get the message, you know? And I feel myself actively trying to understand what's going on, but like being detached from half of my faculties because like half of me is like doing dream shit. And then the other half of me is like trying to figure out why dream is happening at all. Weird.
Yeah. I never have that experience in my dream where I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm just like fully just doing it. Like, I'm like not, sometimes I will have a vague awareness of, I know my task in the dream. Like I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm never wondering why I would do it. I just know that's what I'm doing.
I'm always wondering why. And I'm like, that is so me and my stupid overactive brain. And my like, it's almost like I dream as like a me and then my ego. And we're like kind of like Siamese twins, but like we have separate agendas. And one of them is always like, what the fuck are we doing? And the other one's like, let's just do the thing. And it's so weird. But I kind of like it. I kind of like being like double me. And I pretty much have that experience every time I dream, unless I have that weird third party just dreaming about strangers, which is recent, but I'm like, what is this about? Would like to know what it's about, but yeah, it's weird.
I feel like I have that in real life. Like I'm like doing things and I'm like, why am I doing them?
Yeah. That's way more my real life experience than in my dream experience. It's like I'm so clear. I know my objective and I accomplish my objective. And in real life, I'm like, am I doing this wrong? Why would I do this? Could someone else do this better than me? Maybe I should ask them to do it instead. And like we'll find every reason not to achieve my objective or even have an objective. Like,
do you always achieve your objectives in your dreams? Like, do your dreams have an ending? This is a question for both of you.
Like a
sometimes
video where you're like, all right.
Yeah. I was having a reoccurring dream for a while that I was in my grandma's house, my Mima, and my Mima's house actually looked pretty similar to her real house in my dream. But her basement was always very mysterious to me as a kid. And this was like right after she died. And in this dream, it was like I would go to her house and we would have to find something. Like I knew we had to find something, whatever the thing was. And then it was like we would basically go through, like, you know, in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, when they like go through the dogs and they have to like play the music, and then they go to the room and there's like a flying key. Like basically we did all shit like that, but just like in my Mima's house. And we would like go through different rooms and there would be some thing that we had to like get around or find the box, and there would be like a code. It was basically like what are those called? Those rooms, an escape room.
Escape room. How
It was basically like
fun.
an escape room, but it was my Mima's house. And like she would just kind of like guide me through it. And we would be there together, but she would just know, like, oh, you need to get that box over there. And she would just tell me and I would like do it. And I was having those dreams for a while when I was like 19 and 20. And then I haven't had one in a long time, but yeah, then I would just like, I would get to the end of the dream and we would like find the key or whatever. And then she would just be like, great job. Like that was it.
That is so fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so sweet. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Do
really,
your dreams have endings, Olivia?
Not really. No. Sometimes they do. Like a couple of like the really vivid ones, like the movie ones have. But no, usually it's like a huge cliffhanger. And then
Right,
I'm like,
me too.
what the hell?
It's
like,
always like I'm in the middle of a thing and like, and then I'm like, and then I woke up and it's like, what? Like I didn't get anything done.
and it's like at the most exciting part of the dream too, like right when I'm about to like die or like
Or right when I'm about to have sex with a really hot guy and then my dream wakes me up and I'm like, really though?
oh,
you can let me experience that. Come on.
Like, come on, just give me that, especially in these times. Like, just give me that, please.
that's so funny.
It was crazy. I actually had a dream. You know how you have those falling dreams and then you wake up as soon as
Yes.
you fall?
Yes.
I used to have those at school all the time, and I would be asleep on my desk and I would think I was falling and I would like knock shit off my desk, like, and then like all my notebooks and pens would fall on the floor and I would be like, oh, I was just so asleep.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I actually had a dream where I like slept through that. Like I fell and I kept dreaming and I like kept falling. And it was like, holy shit, like I'm falling. Like, whoa. Like I did it. I like stayed with it. And then it was crazy. This is the same Technicolor dream actually that just totally like blew my mind. It was like I fell off the side of an island and then I fell into the clouds and then I fell beneath the clouds and there was like this crazy like Technicolor rainbow grid work underneath and it was like so cool.
Wow.
What do you think it meant?
I have no idea. I don't know. Something cool, hopefully. like if I don't know, if I were to like put a metaphor on it, you know, maybe like, you know, jumping off of a cliff, like metaphorically, you know, in life can lead you to amazing things if you just,
Yes.
you know, like maybe like that fall versus fly, you know, like what if you, well, like what if I fall if I jump off, but like, you know, what if you fly and
Yeah.
then you get to see a rainbow grid work.
I love that.
Yeah. Usually dreams are so negative, you know. I was like, this is like amazing to have a really positive dream.
Most of my dreams are positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, or see, they're not negative. They're neutral. They're very much like aimless is what I would call them. They're not positive. I overstepped my boundaries on that one. They're not positive at all. They're like, what the fuck was the point of this? Like, that's kind of like that. And then I go in and I'm like, okay, here's what it could mean, but it's very quotidian. I unfortunately am not dreaming about outer space, aliens, other dimensions. It's like normal shit. And when it's not normal shit, it's like disaster. Like the house is flooding or some crazy shit is I'm being hunted. I've dreamed about being hunted. And those are like when they're scary, like I'm literally being hunted. But a lot of the times my dreams are just like daily life. And then I'm like, what is this supposed to teach me? You know, like why am I driving around the parking lot in circles? Or why am I, trying to date someone that I don't really like? Like, why am I doing this very like regular thing? And there's always lessons in it, but it's never like sweet. Like, it's not happy like that. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I feel like the brain just like filters through, like we were talking about earlier, just like everyday things. It's just like kind of, incorporating everything that you saw that day or that week, but then it'll put it together in a way that's like very creative and very artsy and like super far out and crazy.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh yeah, I know all these things, but I've never seen them arranged this way before.
Oh my God. I love that you said this, because this is one of my favorite like lessons from my dream teacher. She's one of the things she teaches a lot about the intentionality around going into the dream world, but then about interpreting our dreams. She always talks about the fact that everybody dreams in their own dream language. And so, and this speaks to like the ineffectiveness of like dream interpretation diaries and stuff, because like you and me, Olivia, could both have a dream about a pug, who's eating a bone in a grassy field. And for me, I had a childhood dog. As a child, I had a pug as our family dog, and I'm allergic to grass and all these things about grassy fields. And so that for me could be something about something from my childhood that's still irritating me. And for you, it could be like you really want a pug in the future and you love running around in open fields, and it's about a future of open possibilities. And so for you, in your dream language, it's something completely different than me. So it's like we can't really compare dream for dream or look up what a dream means online and like find the answers. But then also within that, she talks about how, since dreams are a place for spirit to communicate with us, just imagine like spirit has like a trillion senses, or infinite senses, I should say. Spirit just like it's all knowing, all feeling, all, it goes way beyond 3 dimensions. It's just stuff that we cannot even imagine, right? So then spirit comes into our dream and tries to stuff its infinite capacity, infinite senses into our 5 tactile senses that we can understand as humans. So like they're trying to give us a message of like, I don't know, endless love or something. And they're like, oh, but let me make it something you can feel. So they're like, maybe like step into a vast ocean that's pink. And they're like, maybe she'll get it, like, but they don't know. And it's like, they also mix things up. And it's like, maybe they're putting an emotion into a person. So maybe for you, Taylor, that guy, that friend of your boyfriend showing up in your dream, maybe it's not about the person at all. Maybe it's about whatever emotion that comes up around your interactions with him. And spirit's just like, oh, we'll put that in there and we'll make that a smell, and we'll make that a touch, and we'll make that a sound, and let's see if she gets it. But it's like dream work and the dream exploration is really about being hermit like, going within and then saying, how can I separate all of my 5 senses from like what I perceive as reality? And then how can I start to perceive things without using any of my 5 senses? And then when you're thinking about your dream like that, it's like it's not about what you saw or what you heard. It's just about what you felt. Like you said in the beginning, and sometimes all you do is feel in a dream and you don't remember anything else except an overwhelming feeling. But just going back to saying like, what did that make me feel? Even though I was doing weird shit or making out with some guy, maybe it's not about that guy at all. Like I often dream about like making out with like people that I have no intention of ever making out with. And I'm like, let's dive into that. What is it about that person that's bringing something up for me? And what is it about making out? Because it's clearly that I don't want to kiss him. Maybe it's about intimate connection, or maybe it's about fun without having the overbearingness of commitment and intimacy. And that's kind of like the energy of making out, it's just kind of frivolous and it's whatever, and it doesn't really count. Who knows? I'm going on. But it is just to say that like we don't have to think of our dreams as like being connected to our five senses and our human experience. A dream is very much outside of our human experience, and we just have to start looking at it as something that is mystical and it is kind of supernatural, regardless of if we can only experience it through our own bodily understanding.
Totally. I love that. Yeah, I love that. I love the idea that it's not literal. You know what I mean? Like the things that happen in your dreams, even in real life, like dreams that you sleep with, dreams that you have, it's like the things that happen aren't exactly what's going to happen or what you want to happen. You know, like you don't actually want to make out with your teacher or something like that.
Totally.
You know? Like you don't actually have romantic feelings for like someone you shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just the energy behind it, you know, and kind of like the deeper meaning. Like you have to peel back layers and look at like, you know, what is the energy behind this? What, you know, are my past experiences with this? Like what are some of the more deep and kind of like tangled subjective meanings? And that's why it can get kind of far out and it can get kind of like hard to comprehend at a certain point, you know. It's kind of like abstract in a way, but that is what makes it interesting, I think. You know,
Totally.
that's what makes it fun to like look at the meanings and look at what happens and say, you know, how does this pertain to my life? And then if you want to get into like dream therapy, it can be like, you know, how can I leverage what happens in my dreams to like help me in my waking life?
Yes.
You know, that's like the ultimate goal, I feel like, of dream talk and dream work, you know, is like how can because I feel like our subconscious, like you said, is like just kind of throwing things out there and being like, you know, is she gonna get it? Like, does this make any sense? Like, I don't know. Like, they have like this like huge toolkit, and then we only have our five senses.
Right.
So it's like how they're trying to like cram everything, and they're like, hopefully, you know, I'm really trying to send her a message so that she can improve her life and like get everything she wants and like feel satisfied and be happy and all these things. So, you know, it's kind of up to us to like have these conversations and be like, all right, I had this crazy fucking dream. I don't know what's going on. Like, how do I apply it to my daily life, so that my waking life, so that I can be happier?
Yes. Well said.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, let's just get right into what are some dreams, or just if you want to share one, what is a dream that you've had lately, or a dream that is particularly like potent or memorable to you? What was that dream? And also, I'm going to ask in the same question, what do you think it means?
Love this.
Or if you're talking about like a past dream and you figured out what it meant, like what was that? What's that story?
I think I talked about this last week about me dreaming of being in parking lots a lot.
Yes, you did.
Okay. So last week, I'm just going to go through the parking lot dream and then kind of talk about what I decided what I came to. So I had a dream that I was in a parking lot and we were just kind of driving around in circles in the parking lot. And it was like me and friends from my past, friends from my present, my sister. It was just like an amalgamation of like people that were important to me in my life. And as we were in the car, everyone started kind of talking shit on one of my friends. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be. I was like, I don't really feel comfortable talking, poorly about her. And then they were like, but, her tinctures are so gross. She doesn't even make good tonics. Like they were talking about like the work that she did. And like, I don't know, was she a witch? I don't know. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the health food store and get some hot Cheetos. That's what I said. So I like hopped out of the car and I go to this health food store and I look at the door and it's closed and I see the lady who's working there. Oh, it says closes at 2 p.m. And I look at my watch and it's 2 p.m. And I'm like, well, fuck. So I see the lady who's working there and I was like, well, are you closed like to the end of the day or what's going on? She's like, actually, we're closed forever and we're moving locations and this is this is the last of our stock. So all we have available is what's in the deli meat, the cold food bar. And so if you want to buy that, you can, but like the rest is just closed. And I was like, no, like, where am I going to get my hot Cheetos? First of all, I don't fucking eat hot Cheetos. So then I was like, oh shit, they're closing. And I was really devastated about the fact that this health food store was closing because it was my local health food store. And then I got back in the car and I was like, you guys, like, Lassen's is closing. And they were like, okay. And then we just continued to drive around the parking lot. And that was my dream. And at first I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, why is shit happening in parking lots in my dream? And I talked to Taylor about this a little last week. I was like, maybe my dreams are just trying to tell me that, like, you know, my life is going to be lived out in like the mundane parts of life, you know, and like you think nothing really happens in the parking lot. And yet here I am spending my whole time of my dream just like orbiting around a parking lot. So I kind of made that connection last week. I was like, okay, my dreams are telling me that like shit is happening, even though I feel like my life is boring and mundane. But then I got to this other piece around like nourishment and the health food store and like feeling really not nourished by the conversation that was going on in the car, and then like leaving to go nourish myself with food, but like wanting hot Cheetos. And like, why the fuck am I trying to get hot Cheetos from a health food store? And I was kind of like, okay, so I feel like the circles that I'm driving around in, or the quotidian part of my life, is not feeding me anymore. And you know, my local health food store, the well's dry. There's no more food here. It's time to move on and find another store. So I feel like it is just another dream nudging me towards like getting out of my comfort zone and leaving my house, which has been the theme of all my dreams all summer and into this fall. But yeah, I mean, that's how I broke it down. Give us a dream, Olivia.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting dream. I feel like first of all, okay, can I just say, I feel like parking lots are like a very collective thing, and that's
Right.
not a mundane place to be. Because like everyone has to park in the parking lot. So you're getting like, you know, you're getting Teslas and like 1980 Toyota Corollas. You know, you're getting
I
like
love that.
spectrum. Yeah. I mean, that was just my first, I don't know. That's like, you're getting the full spectrum of like people in the park.
I love that. I'd like to factor that in. I'm
Yeah,
factoring that into my understanding of my dream. Thank you for that.
for sure. Yeah. But then, okay, so I'll just tell you guys, I'll just go into the Technicolor dream because that was the coolest dream I've ever had in my life. And I just love it. I love it. I love that I had it. I'm like, thank you to my brain for giving me that dream. But so basically, it starts off, I'm at the beach, which is one of my favorite places ever. So I'm like stoked, sweet. I think I'm with like my mom or something, my mom and my brother, maybe. I'm with like a couple people, but they're kind of irrelevant. I'm like in my own world. And there's other people at the beach, and we're like on this like floating island, you know, like in Avatar, like those floating balls of like earth, but on the top of it is a beach. And then I'm on said beach, and I like go walking into the ocean, and the ocean is like falling off the island, like very beautifully, like picturesque, you know. And I walk into the water, and I look back at the beach, and there's like this huge, like kind of castle, but the castle is like carved out of the rock. And it's like, yeah, it's like so esoteric and like so epic. And I'm like, wow, like this is amazing. This is like such a work of art. And I look around me, and the water is kind of like pink and purple, and like things are like kind of sparkling. And I'm like, wow. And then there's other balls of earth, like other islands, like out in this air or whatever. And then there's other people, like there's like this body of water below the island, and I'm like watching people play in that water, and they're having a good time, and I'm like, oh sweet, like this is like beautiful, and I see this like little pocket on the side of my island, and I'm like, I wonder what's over there. Like if I just round the corner, I can go walk and like see what's going on. So I walk back onto the beach, and I'm like walking towards this little corner, and there's these people that are coming back from the corner, and I'm like, I wonder what, I'm like, interesting, like other people are going there. But the path leading to the corner was like this big. Like it was like tiny, and it's a podcast, so you can't see. But, but this path is like tiny, it's like you got to be careful. Like it's like walking on the edge, right?
Right.
So I'm like, like
it looked like inches when you showed it. So
right.
for anyone listening, like 5 inches.
Right. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. 5 inches, 5-inch path. How the fuck can you walk on that? I'm like worried in my dream, like, am I gonna fall off the cliff? What's gonna happen? And in that moment, I remember being simultaneously like worried about falling off, also kind of indifferent about falling off, and knowing that it would be okay if I did, So it was like this like weird combination of like, obviously you don't want to fall off the cliff because like I want to go and see what's in the corner, but also like it's kind of okay if I do because I know that I'll be okay,
Right.
So it was like this weird combination in that moment. And so I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna do it. Obviously, I'm gonna walk. And sure enough, I like ended up falling off because this like it crumbled as soon as I stepped onto it, and it crumbled, and I fell, and it was like, I like had that feeling of like when that falling dream.
Yeah.
And so it was very exciting. It was like exhilarating, it was like falling off the cliff. And then right below me were these like clouds. And I love clouds. Like all my artwork is like all clouds. Like clouds are one of my favorite things to look at, paint, everything. And so I fall and I'm like slow motion midair. And I fall through this like layer of clouds. And underneath the clouds was like this amazing grid work, kind of like technicolor, like web, like, and I feel like there was like maybe this music, like it was like, like if the bass drops, like in your favorite song, and you're like, whoosh. And like, I don't know, it was amazing, but I was only there for like 2 seconds. Like it was like, bam, you're here, you saw it. It was kind of mystical because I didn't really get to see everything, but then I woke up.
I love that.
Wow.
I want to be in that dream.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was really cool. I wish I could have it again and like bring friends.
Sometimes I take people's dreams and I create meditations out of them. I've straight up stolen people's dreams and been like, that deserves to be a meditation.
Ooh, yeah, do it.
We should totally make that a meditation.
Yeah, floating island meditation. So
this dream, what do you think it means?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I didn't even get to the part. I don't even know what it means, honestly. I feel like I've tried to decipher it. Like, I feel like it has maybe an obvious meaning, like I was saying before. Like, if you fall off, you'll be okay. And, maybe you'll fly. And, like, not to be scared of, like, walking on the edge or doing scary things. There's a playfulness element. There's like a beauty element to it. There's like a wonder element. Yeah, to just not be scared of jumping off the cliff or falling or doing something scary, because that exhilarated feeling can like lead you to some of the most beautiful places like you'll ever get to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also had this beautiful feeling of like when you were saying that you saw people going before you and you're like, oh, what's over there? Like, where are those people going? I always, when I feel that in my dreams, I'm like, there is guidance and support if you are looking for it, and it's like, it's not so scary because you know that people before you have done it. And like your mom's on the beach down there, like your family was there, like you're safe and you are held,
Yeah. Yeah, that's all part of it. I know. It definitely had a very comforting and safe feeling to it. And I felt awesome waking up. I was like, fucking sweet. Like, that's the coolest dream I've ever had. Like,
I love it.
yeah, for sure.
Taylor, what about you?
I'm going to throw it way back to a dream I actually had some years ago. And because my dreams I've had this week have just been like monotonous, like very silly, but like not the type of shit I'm really like trying to get into on this podcast. And maybe you'll be able to help me with this dream interpretation. So I had a dream. I was probably like, I definitely still lived at home. I was probably like 17, and I have two very young sisters. And in my dream, my mom was pregnant, and I knew that someone wanted to take the baby. Like I knew someone wanted to take her baby that she was pregnant with. And the person who wanted to take her baby was Steve the pirate from Dodgeball, and he was blue. He was like fully a blue person. And I also have never seen Dodgeball all the way through. So I don't know why he came through in my dream that way, but like I knew it was Steve the pirate, and I knew that he was blue. And so we're in my house, in my actual like family home. It didn't look any different from how it does in real life. And it was like me, my brother, my stepdad, and my mom, and my sister who was a baby. And she was pregnant with my other sister. And we were all like trying to come up with a plan to get her safely from the house to the van without Steve the pirate getting her. And I have no idea why I thought that he alone would be able to like kidnap my pregnant mom when there's like obviously way more of us. Like, how's he going to get through? And like also it's not that far from my house to the car, but all of us were like brainstorming, trying to come up with a way to like safely get my mom from the house to the car. My stepdad is a very like intense person too. So he was being really like aggressive and angry, and but none of us were like, oh yeah, just go fight Steve the pirate. Like none of us said that. And so he was just like stomping around, and we were trying to like get my mom to the car. And finally we just decided we needed to make a break for it. So we like surround my mom, like me and my brother and my stepdad, and I'm like holding my baby sister, and we like surround my mom in this little pod, and we're all like running out to the van, to this like minivan, which we didn't have. And we like get it open, and we get my mom inside, and Steve the pirate is like pissed. Like he wants to kill us all. Like he's furious. And we take off. My stepdad's driving, and like I'm still just like holding my baby sister. My brother's in the car, my mom's in the front passenger seat, and she's like about to give birth. And Steve the pirate is like running at the van, and I was so scared. Like the fear was so real in this dream that this like blue Steve the pirate was gonna kill us all and take my mom and take the baby. And that's all I remember, was just being in the car feeling so scared, and like knowing we were on our way to the hospital, but knowing there was like no way to avoid him, that like he was just gonna get us. And that was the dream.
What do you think it meant?
I think it meant that I don't know, that I was like hoped my mom made it to the hospital safely, but I don't know why she wouldn't. Yeah, I feel like it was one of those things that like in the whole Steve the pirate thing and him being blue was so weird too. I like couldn't make any sense of it. I was like, I don't even know this man. Like I've never even seen Dodgeball. And I don't know why like that was like the predator of my dream. Like I was so scared of him, and I really thought that like he alone could hurt my whole family.
Maybe it's like going back to the thing of it's not necessarily the character, it's like the energy behind the character, you know? So even like the baby, like maybe that could be like something new in your life or something new in yourself that was just born like small, and you're like, ooh, this is a new like little seed that I found. And then being scared that like something's gonna come take it or ruin it.
Yeah, I mean, it totally could not have to do anything with any of your family at all.
Yeah.
Babies are definitely like creative births, like very Ace of Cups. Like it could be a birth, or it could be a birth of your new idea, you know?
Yeah. But it's funny to think about it, because I was definitely like in high school when I had that dream, and like I wasn't trying to do anything but just like get through the day.
Right.
Like I definitely wasn't coming up with any like, oh, here's my business and this is a project. It was just like all I thought about ever was just like singing show tunes and leaving Missouri.
But I mean, it could be that. It could be
Yeah.
like wanting to escape from like this
Mhm.
blue person that's like trying to kidnap new opportunity from you or from your family. Like there's so much about it that's just kind of like your peace or something new is at risk, and you like
Yeah.
have to put together all of your resources, everyone you know, to protect that thing. And like you're still scared. You probably just really wanted to get out of Missouri. You know what I mean?
Probably.
But I mean, it's hard with the dreams that were far off, because it's like, what was I feeling at that time? You know, like
Yeah. When I woke up from that dream about my mom, all I could think about was like, why was Steve the pirate blue? Like I could not. And he was just like so blue, like a bright blue. And that's all.
maybe
That
it's
was like,
like maybe that's like fear of the unknown, you know, like something strange and weird is going to come and take my happiness or take my peace, you know?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
What does blue mean to you? You like blue?
Yeah. It's fine.
Huh?
It's like not a color I feel like I really like certain shades, but it's definitely not one of my like go-to colors.
same. We went
Yeah.
way over.
Yeah, we did. But dreams are just so like dreams are crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can even. Okay, should we do full disclosure?
I love talking about just dreams, but we are going to pivot and we're going to do full disclosure, which is like
Full
kind of,
disclosure.
I mean, maybe we can make it dreamy. I feel like we end it in a dreamy state.
Everybody dreams about having money. It's not that hard to make it dreamy.
Yeah.
You know what they say actually is dreams, if you have a dream that your teeth are falling out, that's about fear of money. Fear
I've
of
never
losing
had one of those. I
I've
know
never had one either.
that's a really common dream. Like
Yeah.
almost everybody I've ever dated has had that as a reoccurring dream, the like teeth falling out thing. And I've never had a dream like that ever.
I've never had one either.
like famous though. It's like a famous.
Yeah. Like those archetypal dreams is what they call them.
Yes.
Like dreaming about flooding in the basement is like some type of like overwhelm of emotional subconscious emotions. And there's quite a few like archetypal dreams, but I don't usually have them. I have dreamed of a flooding house.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
The only archetypal dream I have is being chased. And I'm being chased and I'm like in a neighborhood that I know very well. That's like a neighborhood I used to live in, and I'm knocking on people's doors like frantically begging them to let me into their house because I know I'm being chased by people who want to kill me.
Yeah. Do you ever have that where you like can't run very fast too?
Yeah. You're like,
No, I'm actually
running.
shocked. I'm like shocked at myself in my dream. I'm like, in real life, I can't run for shit. Like, if someone was actually chasing me, I would just run out of breath and like they would catch me and that would be it. But in my dream, I'm like, I could run forever. I never run out of breath. I'm like, my survival is so in the front of my mind, like just like survive, survive, survive. And I'm just like banging on people's doors and running faster than I've ever ran in my whole entire life in real life. And I could just run, 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 run forever and ever. It's crazy.
Oh, I totally have an archetypal dream. I have the dream where I show up in class and there's a test, and I had no idea there was a test. And then I realized that I had no idea what the class even is. And then I realized that I've never been to class all semester. I have that dream a lot.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I know. So as a full-time student, I'm fucking terrified of those dreams.
Horrible. I've been out of school for almost 10 years and I still can't with that dream. It's horrifying. But someone gave me an interpretation of it that like made me feel better about the dream. And she was like, maybe it just means that new things are coming and you're fully not prepared for what they're going to be. And I was like, oh, that feels so much better, because in my conscious mind, I think you've gone and fucked something up and you were ill prepared and you didn't do anything about it. But if it means that something new is coming into my life that I like haven't planned for, haven't thought about, haven't paid any attention to, but like now it's here, that feels a lot better. And it does seem like that's how my life goes pretty often.
For sure. I have dreams that I'm late for work a lot.
Oh God, horrible. Okay, let's get into full disclosure.
Okay. Dreams are so fun though.
I know. It's like we knew this was going to be a long one.
Yeah. But our first question is, how much money do you make? But
Ah,
before you answer that, you know what I actually think is a question that, if you don't want to give us a number, is a better question. Like, where do you get your money? Like,
Yes.
I think that that's a good money question too. So take your pick.
okay. Well, the pandemic hasn't been very nice to me. Well, it has in certain ways. But right now, as for where I just had my birthday, so I got paid for being born.
Yay.
Just a little bit, but I am exploring like being a freelance artist, which is exciting and terrifying at the same time because it's pretty it's not consistent money. So like I'll do a commission and I'll get like $200, you know, whenever they come along. But usually this is the first time actually that I haven't like had a full-time job or even, you know, at least a part-time job ever since I was 15. And I started working in a grocery store, and then I've been in like service jobs ever since. So yeah, this pandemic is like really making me explore other ways that I can make money. And right now I have student loans, so I'm like pinching those, yeah, which doesn't feel good, honestly. But I'm thankful because it's helping me like rethink my offerings.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. That's a great segue into our next question.
Yeah. The next question is, so this can go into your freelance art, but it's what's your pricing and how did you decide on it?
Okay. So this is an interesting one too, for me because I've been thinking a lot about like how do you place value on things? You know, like how do I place value on my time? Basically, is what it comes down to. Like I could look at a piece and be like, all right, so I spent $20 on materials. I spent 4 to 6 hours making it. And if I want to give myself like a livable wage, like 15 an hour or something like that, then that would be, I'm terrible at math. So whatever 15 times 5 is, would be that. And then, you know, depends how intricate it is. Like, you know, if it's just like I threw some paint on there and I had fun and I thought it looked cool, then that's one thing. But if it's like I'm doing this piece right now, I'm looking at it, it's like a frog. And that thing is going to be so intricate and it's going to take me so long. And it's like takes a lot of skill because it's a bigger canvas. Then I would want to throw on, you know, more money for that, just for the skill and for the intricacies and the time that it took. So yeah, between like time and value, those are really the things I feel like that it comes down to. My own worth, you know, like I don't know, it's like gets pretty deep.
It gets so
But
deep.
yeah, but so
And I think you touched on something really important that like a lot of artists feel, and that just a lot of people who set prices for things, it feels like it's just hard to do. That was like kind of why we wanted to have this segment, was just so people could hear each other in their own words. Like it's like we want everything to be accessible, but we also like need to pay student loans. So,
Right.
you know, but yeah, I think you
Also, I
answered
mean,
that beautifully.
I feel like for you as a student, I will just offer you the gift of saying that a living wage is well above $15 an hour.
yeah.
If you want to charge $50 an hour for painting, none of us can paint. You know what I mean? It's one thing to charge $50 an hour for something that everybody can do, but like this is a skill. And so, you know, like honor yourself for being a skilled artist. And if someone wants to pay a commission, like be like, it's going to cost a little. And I think we all have this being, you know, spiritual, kind people. We want it to be accessible. And I think you can be like, okay, I see you. I see that you are not necessarily rolling in dough. Maybe it's going to be cheaper for you. But I think in general, you can charge way more than $15 an hour for your skill. It's a rare skill.
Thank you for saying that, actually.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's always hard. Because people see different things, and then it's comparing as well. There's so much comparing, and there is so much of like, yeah, I want my friends to be able to afford it, and I want it to be out there. Sometimes it comes down to like, I just want it to be out there, I just want my art to be seen, and I want the word to spread, that I'm doing it, and I want to build my portfolio, and sometimes doing that, you have to do things for free, or you have to do things for really, really cheap. And I'm sure it's the same with like a podcast, I mean, podcasters aren't necessarily rolling in dough either, like it's just like for the love of it and for the fun of it at a certain point. And just because, with art and with conversations, it's just like a itch that I feel like has to be scratched. And as soon as you start to like try to put a dollar amount or do things for money, this like whole other element comes in of like, you have to scratch that itch to like, or have an itch in the first place, like to be able to pay the bills. So that's like always an interesting dynamic to think about.
Definitely. Doing what you love for money creates a whole fucking thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's totally a thing. I'm like, how can I like cultivate? That's what I'm working on right now, actually. That's what I keep thinking about is like, how can I cultivate this like feeling or this like energy of creation all the time, so that I can make a Patreon or, always have merch that people are interested in and want to buy. It's hard.
I like cute stickers and postcards.
Okay.
Whenever I go to like a road show or just like a street fair, and there's always artists there and they always sell their paintings, but I'm always like, give me all your stickers. Like, it's just like, they're cute, they're little, I put them on my journals, and like, I don't really have a lot of money to be spending money on someone's art that like doesn't necessarily match my space or anything, but like, I will put a cute sticker anywhere. A $5 sticker, yeah, like all the time, and then if you just like have it up on your site, like, and if people take it, they take it, but like little cute things where like people want little cute things, people aren't necessarily as ready to pay for like big things.
Totally. Yeah, I'm always working on sticker designs. I love stickers too. I put them on everything.
I love stickers.
I sticker town, actually. I sticker Paella pretty regularly when I have stickers. And I'll keep that in mind though. Thank you. Stickers and postcards. And air fresheners. I think I want to get into air fresheners.
Ooh, that's cute.
Fun.
Okay, what's the next question?
Yeah.
Our next question is, what are your spending habits and what's your biggest expense?
Food. Right off the bat, no hesitation. Food is my biggest. I'm not even that big of an eater, but I'm also not that big of a spender. Like I'm not like going out, and I also don't have a car right now, which is interesting. I find that when I have a car, I definitely spend more money just on like gas and going places. And then when you're in those places, there's money to spend and like all these things. So I would definitely say food. Yeah. And rent, but that's just like a given.
Unless you live with your mom.
Yes. Which I was fortunate enough to, it was hard, but it's like during the pandemic, I was like, this is kind of what has to happen.
I feel you.
Yeah. So.
All right. So our last question is, what's your favorite thing that you've spent money on recently?
Ooh, all my self-care stuff.
I love it. What's your favorite self-care thing?
I got this really good smelling face cream.
Ooh, I love it.
For like before bed, and it just smells amazing. I don't know, it has like rose hips and cardamom and like all my favorite scents in it, so I can like put it on my face before bed and just feel like a fucking queen and like amazing.
I love
like,
it. That's very the star. What your recurring card, the face cream at night to me is the star.
Oh yeah,
I just thought that.
Oh, that's so true. That's so real. And it goes back to like sleeping and dreaming and smells. Which
yes.
Everything we just
it all comes back. Here's the synchronicity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think putting on stuff before bed is like, that's a really beautiful way to like usher yourself into dreamland.
Yes.
Totally.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing all of that with
Thank you for
us.
sharing that. We
I
love
think you're
that.
like, yeah, you're like the first artist, like as like a visual artist that we've had. So I feel like it's such great information for everybody to know because I feel like no one knows how much anybody makes or charges or how they come to that choice. And I think like I we're always just so grateful when anyone's willing to share their process around just like living living in this world and money stuff. So
Totally.
Trying
No,
to figure out how
I
to live.
thank you. Thank you guys so much for like having this space and having it open and wanting to shed light on that topic in the first place. I mean, it's such like a heavy, especially, it always has been, but during this time, it's just coming even more to light, how much a lot of us were struggling, even without strenuous conditions. Like it's like money in America, it has a very unbalanced life,
Oh
like
man.
it's very concentrated in very small areas.
Right.
Like we have some very potent people who have all of this energy and money, and then there's like this bigger group that is kind of struggling.
Struggling.
yeah, for
Amen, sister.
sure. Well, thank you. And now we have our final segment of our
Our
show.
favorite part.
This is my favorite part of the whole show. I love it. I love when we get here. I'm pumped about it.
I'm totally not
Okay.
ready this week. I just
It's
telling you. Oh, I have my vibe. I know my vibe.
okay. Amazing. It's what's the vibe?
Ooh.
So, this is the part of the show where we ask what everyone's vibing this week.
Am I going first?
Ooh.
Jay, if you have your vibe, you can totally go first.
I'll go first. I fully have it.
Okay.
I didn't think
Okay,
I
good.
had it, but then I realized that I'm hosting a workshop.
Oh my
This is
gosh,
a
yes.
this is a shameless self-plug vibe. I am hosting a workshop on Sunday, November 1st at 9 a.m. PST. It's called From Sad to Fab. SAD is in all capitals because it's the acronym for seasonal affective disorder, which is also known as winter blues, winter depression, and I have it bad. Every winter, I steep into a little bit of a depression. It's not that common, but pretty common to be affected by the changing seasons. So in college, it was really bad. Like I used to go to college in Pennsylvania and it would snow every winter and it would be very dark and it would get dark at 4 p.m. and it was gross. And I used to just hang black sheets on all my windows, like just black out my windows because I was not rich enough for blackout curtains. And then I would just watch Harry Potter in my bedroom on the floor and I'd just order all my food into my sorority house and I'd never leave the house. And I'd do this for like 3 or 4 days at a time. And my friends in college would just be like, oh, Jay's going into her lair. Like, she might not come out for a while. And like, that was literally how I coped. And then since then, I've learned so many coping strategies for dealing with winter depression. And so my workshop is all about the strategies and coping mechanisms for dealing with winter depression. It's going to be a workout in the beginning. So 30 minutes of strength training, 30 minutes of yoga, followed by a little break. Then I'm going to do a little master class on different tools and practices that you can incorporate into your winter days to feel more happy and alive. And then the last part is a meditation and journaling exercise. And I'm super excited. It's the first workshop I've ever hosted. And yeah, I think it's going to be really fun.
Yay. I love that vibe. I can't wait for your workshop.
Yay. That's my vibe. What's your vibe, Olivia?
Ooh, interesting. It's so hard to pick one. It's really hard for me to pick one. My vibe this week, let's see, it's Monday, right?
It's Wednesday.
I was literally about to be like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's definitely Monday. You're right.
I don't know where I was so convinced just because this weekend was so full. And so I'm like still stuck on like the Monday thing. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, it's Wednesday. And so this week shit, has brought me, I don't know, I think I'm always in the vibe of meditation and always wanting to meditate more. And I'm on this trip right now where I want to go to the ocean every day and jump in. So yeah, that's my vibe.
Love
Connecting to water.
That's
I
so
love that
nice.
so much.
That's a beautiful vibe.
That's a vibe. Everybody move to Hawaii and you can have that too.
Yes. Yes, PSA, come here and hang out. It's awesome.
I love it. I'm on the next plane. What's your vibe, Taylor?
My vibe is so silly, but I just have to be honest because it's what I'm vibing. So it's Mercury retrograde right now. And I'm always so curious to see how Mercury retrograde will show up for me. And this retrograde, I'm getting to the point of my vibe, but I've been so nostalgic. Like I've been looking at old pictures and like I really feel like I'm literally going back in time sometimes to just like think about, the past and whatever. That sounds so stupid. But so I've been listening nonstop actually to my own boyfriend's old band that put out a bunch of music. They probably have like 10 songs. So they put out a bunch of music in like 2015, 2016, 2017, I think was the last time they released anything. And it like I was like listening to an old playlist I had that has like over 400 songs on it. It was just a playlist that I threw on basically any song I thought was cool. I just like put it on this playlist. And I have all of Joey's old band songs on that playlist. They're called Family Ha-Has. And I have just been like, when I get in the car, I'm like, oh, I want to listen to Family Ha-Has. And I just like put it on and I'm like, I cannot believe they didn't get famous. Like the songs are just relevant as ever. I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's really hitting me. And my boyfriend didn't write any of the lyrics. He's like not a lyrics guy, but I like texted the guy who did write the lyrics and I was like, Al, these songs are like amazing, like so relevant to 2020. Like I'm just like living through this music right now. And it was just such a funny moment because like when we first met, he was just like full on in Family Ha-Has. Like, we were like 22 and it was like, that's going to be it. You're going to be famous from this. And like, I listened to it and I'm like, dang, I actually can't believe they didn't get famous from this because it's so good.
I hate when people don't get famous and they're good.
Yeah, it was like, I get it. And obviously I'm so biased because like, I just think Joey is such a great musician. And I think he's so cute. And I was like looking at pictures of their old band and I was like, oh my God, they were so cute. Like, and I know that like you don't get famous from thinking your girlfriend thinks you're cute. So yeah, but that's my vibe. Mercury retrograde, nostalgia, listening to my boyfriend's old band, Family Ha-Has.
I cannot wait to listen to Family Ha-Has. Are they on Spotify?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're on Spotify.
Amazing.
They have like, their songs just sound like 2015.
Oh, I love it.
It just makes you feel like it's 2015, which maybe was the last time that I felt like I was like, yeah, things are good. Like this is going to be good. And I think probably 2015 was the last time I felt that way. So, but it's funny.
That is so deep.
I listened to it and it was like, I wasn't really vibing it at the time because I was like so happy all the time. And I just thought everything was amazing and great. And I listen to it now and I'm like, holy shit. Like I feel as alone as this song sounds.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But it's got this like, it's poppy and it's fun. It's like indie cool. But the lyrics are actually so great, so clever. Shout out Alex Rogers.
I'm going in. I'm going all the way in.
It's so cute. It's so cute. It sounds like a sad prom on the beach is how I would always describe it.
I love a sad prom on the beach.
That's
what an amazing description.
Yeah.
Sad prom on the beach. Yes.
So that's my vibe. Family Ha-Has. I'm fully in my 2015 nostalgia right now.
Maybe they'll get famous still since you like talk them up so
right.
much.
Yeah, because we're famous.
Right. To our
estimated audience of 55 people.
Yeah.
Yay.
Go listen to Family Ha-Has. Tell me what you think.
I love that. I love this. I have loved this conversation. We knew dreams was going to be a big one. This
Yeah,
was
dreams
good.
are so fun. I could talk about dreams
So fun.
forever.
So fun.
Yeah, I knew it coming in. I was like, this is going to be big. I have a lot to talk about.
I think you have been an amazing guest. I think your input was you sound like a dream expert. You were like, I'm not an expert. I was like, this sounds like expertise to me. Let's
Yeah.
redefine expert. We're here to redefine all manner of words, but like first things first, there's no such thing as an expert. I just no.
I also just love the idea of like celebrating enthusiasts.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I'm so glad we got to have you on, and I just want to like take a moment to celebrate you and celebrate us as just enthusiasts. And
Yes.
I feel like enthusiasm is definitely something that like we could all use, and it's such a beautiful thing. Like when I think about apathy, how just like shit that is, like to be
Yeah.
apathetic just fucking sucks. And like not I'm just like not down for really
Right.
apathetic people. And I feel like to be an enthusiast of anything, especially something as beautiful as dreams, is like that is just like the magic that the world needs. So
Amen.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
This
Oh,
was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
do you want people to connect with you? Where can they find you? Where can they find your art?
Yes.
Actually, yes. Thank you. I would love to plug myself
Please.
as well. I'm not like big by any means, but I do have an Instagram page. Very active on Instagram. It's Subtle Art Page. So SUBTLE Art Page on Instagram. And then in the bio is the link to my regular page if you want to follow that. I wish that I had started a Patreon before this conversation, but I don't have one yet.
Honestly, if you start a Patreon, we will plug it on any episode in the future. So no worries about that.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's so sweet. Awesome. Also, I'll probably plug it on my Instagram too, if y'all would just follow.
Yay.
How cute was
Okay.
she?
Oh my gosh, so sweet. I loved that. That was such a
that.
beautiful convo. Yeah, if anyone listening has, I feel like we have a lot of dreamers in this crew. So please tell us about your dreams. You can, let us know on Instagram. You can send us a tweet. You can send us an email. If you have either of our numbers, you can just text us. We love hearing from you. So let us know about your dreams. Let us know what you think your dreams mean, how you're decoding your own dream language,
Yes.
all of that good stuff. Let us know. We want to hear all about your dreams. You can find us on Instagram at Vibes Revealed. You can find us on Twitter at Vibes Revealed, and you can send us an email, vibesrevealedpodcast@gmail.com.
We've still never tweeted.
No, I actually don't know if we'll ever tweet, but I feel like I just wanted to have the handle because it was available. So I took it. So we have it. If we ever do tweet, it'll be like,
tweet at us.
Yeah.
I don't think I have Twitter on my phone even. I don't even know how to access Twitter.
Oh my gosh. I look at Twitter. It's part of my like nighttime routine. I only look at Twitter at night and I only follow astrology shit. I don't like nothing else happens on Twitter to me except astrology. Like it's just basically like a little astrology hub. And I like it that way. It's very curated
I feel like it's necessary to curate Twitter because shit be going wild on there. There's just too much.
Yeah. I feel like people really get into some shit on Twitter.
They really do.
Yeah. I just don't really like to get into.
It's too much for me. The whole subtext and all the whole it's just like constant trolling, I feel like.
Yeah. So, maybe we'll never be there, but you can tweet at us. There we do have a handle if you want to do that. Might take us a few days to see it. I don't really check it, but Okay, well, super fun. And I guess that's all.
That's it. I had so much fun. This was great. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah. We will talk to you next week. Yeah. Sending lots of love.
Oh, we didn't say leave us a 5-star review.
Oh,
Please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us move up in the spirituality podcasts algorithm so that more people can have eyes on our podcast. And if you leave us a 5-star review, we will send you a remedy revealed. And it will be all about the hermit.
yeah. You just have to let us know that you left a 5-star review because we don't know where to send it if you don't tell us that you left one. I wish that there was like a more streamlined way to do that, but there's just not yet. So, I mean, you can even just throw your email in the review if you want, but then I guess everybody has access to it, so maybe don't. I don't know. But if you want the remedy revealed, you have to let us know. And then we'll send you that. So,
yeah, and that's it.
and that's it. That's actually it. Okay. Hope you have a beautiful day, weekend, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.